What's up, superstars? Today we're going to be doing another heat press test on the Fancier Studio 15x15 heat press. So if you guys haven't seen our last heat press challenge video, last year this wasn't quite the winner, but it did pretty well amongst the budget heat presses on Amazon. This model on the Fancier Studio 15x15 heat press has a 5.5 inch pullout, which gives it a good edge over its competitors. So I'm really curious to see how this one performs. Let's open this up. So we got quite a few things that came out of this. We got a little user guide. This typically just tells us how to use it, just further instructions on that. And then we do have their Facebook. This was in the last heat press as well, so we did figure it was going to be the same, but we do have some new things. Do have a Teflon sheet. Nice Teflon sheet. And then we do have this. I believe it's another Teflon sheet. Oh, it's another replacement of the lower back cover. Okay. This new model heat press has a slide out feature which extends 5.5 inches, allowing easy placement of shirts to get the job done quicker. They also made improvements from the previous model, which includes a non-stick cover and a non-stick lower platen cover. This heat press uses high temperatures and heavy pressure to embed the design onto the material permanently. For professionals especially, these machines are highly recommended. Heat press machines typically require 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. The voltage of this heat press is about 110 volts. The power is about 1200 watts. As you can see, it also has a clamshell style to it, with the temperature range from about 0 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Which is great, but we're only going to be doing 300 degrees. The time range is about 0 to 999 seconds. Has an electronic button layout to control the temperature and the time. Baseboard has a pull-out method, as well as also pressure can be adjusted. Let's test this press. All right, we're going to just start with the pressure dollar test. So we're just going to put dollar bills all around, really just trying to see if this pressure is going to solidify the transfer. We did put this on a high setting, I would say about 40 pounds of pressure. Again, to really check that out, what we really do is kind of put it on the tightest setting, and if it feels like there's too much restraint, then we kind of loosen it a little, but you do need it very, very tight. Okay. So what we're basically going to do is press these dollar bills and just try to pull these babies out. I've got to say, if any of them slide out, then you could really see that's the lack of pressure, but I am not seeing that with any of these bills, and I'm tugging on them, to be honest, so I'm not seeing anything pull out. Yep, nothing sliding out, nothing's taken away. Yep, nothing is tugging off. Looks good. So now we're going to be testing out the heat up time. And what I'm going to do here too as well, I'm just actually going to speed up the clip after I set this up. We're going to set it up to 300 degrees to 8 seconds. Reason for 300 degrees is that that's the temperature we're going to be pressing our shirt. And they didn't tell us an actual time frame of when it heats up completely. So we're really just going to be just testing this out. We sped it up a bit so we can kind of really capture everything, as well as also don't waste your time on the amount of minutes it takes. But yeah, just so you guys could see and get a good rough, estimate and how long you have to wait with this press. Usually around the Fancier Studios, you don't really have to wait that long. It is a professional press. Even for its budget as well. So it's a very good press on the time frame as well, to just, heat up time from just starting it. So, really check it out yourself. This is from just turning it on from the very start
And as you can see, it's going pretty fast. We already passed the 5-minute mark, and we're almost at 300. And as you can see, with 292, 293, we're hitting it up. We actually did pause around 6:46, which was a good time frame.
Now for the heat distribution test. What we're going to do is just start off with the right-hand corner. Okay, 303 degrees. That's a good set. We're going to do this one up on top, 305. And then we're going to do the other corner as well, 301. Okay. We're going to get the side right here, 312. 313 right in the middle. 300, 308. I don't know if you can see the laser. There we go. And then we're going to start with the bottom middle, because inconsistency, that's what I love. On 300. Ooh, yeah. 294. Going a little off. The lasers meet. Alright, 260, 297, 284. Do this one more time. 293, 264.
So with the measuring, I'm just going to really just measure the 15 by 15 layout, just to kind of see if we are adding any more or putting any more. It is at the 15. With the pull out, we are just going to measure it from where it stops to the point of where it extends. So if you can see where it stops at that end point, the little metal bar. We're just going to measure it from that point to where it extends. Okay, it says it's 5.5, and it is. Wow. That's awesome. So 5.5, it extends. And yeah, right on the point. That's awesome. Okay, well, now we're going to just check the other length of the base. This also says it's 15, so let's see. Got it right on the 15. Awesome. All right, cool. Now with the top, really just gonna measure it the same. Right. I'm getting a little bit. Okay. Yeah, no. We're on the 15. It is 15 as well in the opposite end.
Now it's time for the press test. We got ourselves a graphic, something colorful to pair off with our Champion Adult 6-ounce short sleeve t-shirt. Let's get started. We're going to use this aligning tool. Properly align this graphic. Tape it down with this heat resistant tape. Alright, ready for the press. Just gonna put my Teflon sheet on and set this time. Alright. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, time for the peel. Alright, came out pretty good. We're gonna do a second press. This is how it looks. Alright, let's take a closer look. Alright, what we're trying to look for is these lines. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this shows that it got embedded correctly. This was enough pressure, it was enough heat. and you won't have this graphic looking bad at all. Let's take a look at everything. Yeah, this was good. This was good. Yeah, it did great. Now, the wash test. What's up, superstars? We are back here with the wash test. I want to say first, I washed this shirt through a normal wash like it was another one of my personal shirts, as well as also dried this shirt, okay? So here are the results. Let's take a look. What I am looking for is seeing if everything has been embedded with enough pressure. If it has, you would see these vertical lines right here. And I do not see any premature wrinkling, anything coming off. And I don't see any buildup of any bubbles. So this actually looks really, really good. Yeah, looks great. Came out great. Definitely passed the wash test. So let's go on with some of the pros and cons with this press. Starting with the pros first. It was very, very easy to use. It had a one-piece design, so there wasn't really much assembly that was needed. The controller on the machine, which is built in, was also very simple to use. It had a countdown feature, also the timer, which had an added alarm. It also took about like 6 minutes and 46 seconds to fire up to 300 Fahrenheit, which is fairly fast. It's not so long. And also, if you really think about it, so most heat presses have a pad like this. So regular pad just to give it a little bit of cushion and allowing the pressure to kind of really solidify on there. But they don't have a Teflon wrap like this. This is very new for me, as well as also the team looking at it. So when we looked at this, we really thought that maybe this was going to cause a difficulty putting in the shirts, as in like more of like putting the shirts in, and if it was going to kind of realign itself while pushing it back in from the slide out feature, which again, the slide out feature was really great, but the slide in and slide out, nothing moved. It was a very good add-on. It actually made it a lot easier to load up shirts, because let's really kind of go into it. This pad itself is very sticky for shirts, especially with some of them. Got an added pad right here. These type of pads, they kind of grapple onto shirts, which is supposed to be good because of the fact that it allows it to align and keep it straight. So that's why we were kind of concerned if this was going to cause a problem. But it actually made it a lot easier, and it really didn't move at all. As you can tell with the graphic, this is perfectly aligned. So yeah, it really did help, and it added a lot towards the press itself. So yeah, that was a good added feature. Another one would probably be the pull-out feature. It has a 5.5-inch pull-out, allows you to load up the shirts so that you could put it in a little bit faster, as well as also, you know, I say loading in shirts irregularly. It's hard to kind of manage to put your hand and not hit this top edge, especially if you're not basically magnetizing the Teflon sheet on the press. But it was a lot easier having the pull-out method, not having to worry about touching the top area with my hand, just to easily load up shirts. Just in, press, and out. So it was really, really easy, and I like that kind of construction for it. So solid pressure all around. It passed the dollar test. All around had good tugs. Nothing was slipping. It has a metal and aluminum construction to it, so it feels sturdy. It had the same kind of construction as the first Fancier Studio, not the one that really didn't pull out, but this one that does pull out has the same kind of feel to it. I do gotta say the last one was sturdier. I think that's because it didn't have the pull out. The pull out is not as smooth as it should be, but it's still pretty sturdy of a machine. It really is. And last thing is that they did add a Teflon sheet to this machine. This Teflon sheet It's usually added to a lot of presses, but for a budget-friendly press, being $189.99 with Amazon, I gotta say this was a pretty good add-on. I wish it was a little bit bigger because we like to usually magnetize it on the top, so you don't have to continuously put it in there, and it would automatically already have it pressed down. Also saving your fingers if you're trying to load up a shirt too as well. Again, you wouldn't have this problem with the pull-out feature. But regardless, with a regular press in general, a Teflon sheet definitely helps your fingers as well as also helps time saving and trying to find that Teflon. But really, really good at added features. And yeah, let's move on to the cons now. So with the cons, when testing the heat distribution, I saw the bottom left corner, well, the bottom in general, they were lower than 300 Fahrenheit. The bottom left was at 264, while everything else was like below at least 10. But it really didn't affect the transfer overall. So in general, it still got embedded completely perfect, and it really didn't really matter regardless if it didn't hit all corners. But that was something that still was a con, because if you're saying 300 Fahrenheit, we expect it to be 300 Fahrenheit all around. But even some heat presses, they don't even get to 300 Fahrenheit. So with this one being a little bit above it as well on the top side, and the middle one being almost exact, just the bottom being very, very low, that was the only pressure. And as you could see, it really didn't mess up anything on the transfer, so I wouldn't call this a huge problem. It also doesn't have a handle to help pull up, which was a very big annoying issue on when I was trying to pull it up. I did pull up the whole press itself, which this is a glass table. Again, weird preference. Definitely don't use a glass table when trying to press a shirt, especially in this kind of caliber. But I could definitely see if I do as many shirts as I could possibly can on this surface, you're definitely cracking this table or causing some wear and tear on whatever that's going to be on. I did not like that feature. I know it does have a handle right here, but pressing down on it, you're using your thumb. It's very annoying. It still slides off. But yeah, that's the only thing I really didn't like from that con section, from the handle. Regarding the pressure, the knob is very loose. As you can see, I'm barely touching it and it's already moving. I don't know if one of these bolts, if they could get tightened and can make it a lot tighter. I do see a washer right here, so I don't think that's possible. But yeah, this was a very big con. Because let's just say, you know, if you're working on a bunch of shirts and you're keeping it at a separate pressure, if this is messed with or even touched a little, it could definitely mess up a shirt, especially if you're set on one pressure. That's basically to the brink of having 40 pounds to 39 pounds could definitely mess up your shirt. So yeah, no, this was a very big con. It also doesn't have a pressure gauge, so you wouldn't know how much pressure you're using when pressing the shirts. It doesn't have an auto release function as well, and it also has a 30-day Amazon warranty. Another big con is that the slide out feature doesn't really do well with hoodies. What we've seen is that when we were testing it on a hoodie, the hood itself gets kind of blocked on the path of pushing it back, and it doesn't allow it to push it back. And we can't push it, if we can't push it all the way back, we can't press it all the way. So, but I mean, to really defeat and eliminate that kind of problem, we just really just put it sideways and we still pressed it. So it still came out good. Just know for a fact that if it's a hood, you're definitely gonna have to put it on the side. That was a simple con, I would say, but as well as also a simple fix. All right, guys, this heat press did very well, I gotta say. On the superstar rating, we're gonna give it as a comparison from our last Fancier Studio Heat Press, the one that didn't have a pull-out feature. So with this one in mind, we're gonna give a sturdiness level 4. Our last heat press that was a Fancier Studio that didn't have the pull-out feature was a 5. The one reason we gave it 1 less was because with this pull-out feature, it wasn't very smooth. It felt like more of like a metal to metal kind of contact pulling out and in. So it just didn't feel as smooth. But overall, still same construction, metal and aluminum. Very, very good. And just good construction overall. So yeah, an easy use scale with the same as the Fancier Studio from the last unboxing was a 4. We gave it the same reason and the same number, 4, because of the fact that it has no handle for popping it back up. And for that is a big reason, because when popping it back up, it could really be annoying because it lifts the whole press up, which I don't know if you know this, but this is actually a pretty heavy press, and it can cause a good amount of damage if it slams basically on the table that you're pressing on. So, and we have a glass table, so we could definitely see some of the scratches on that. But overall, it's still pretty good heat press. It's still easy to use. I like the features that it comes with it. Another thing that both of them came compared to is the pressure test. They both passed the pressure test. Both came through the dollar test, having the dollars not come out at all, as well as also passing the wash test, seeing that the whole transfer got embedded. You can even see the vertical lines, and none of the transfer is like bubbly, or if you ever see any premature wrinkling, you don't see any of that on an already washed shirt. So that's really good sign that shows that it was enough pressure to actually embed this transfer. So on that scale too as well, I gotta say with the heat distribution, we gave it the same number as the last Fancier Studio's unboxing. It was a 4. Same reason again, the distribution of heat was very, very womp. On the high scale, was on the top was past 300, and the middle was basically at 300, and towards at the bottom was low 264 on the left corner. Middle was like 290, and then on the right was like almost basically close to 300. But regardless, it did mess up on those heat distribution. That's why we gave it a 4. But overall on that heat distribution, as you could tell on the graphic, it didn't mess up on that transfer whatsoever. So I don't think that really matters as much, but regardless, we still needed to put it up there with the heat distribution still being kind of off. On both ends as well, for the Fancier Studio, on the assembly scale, it was very easy. Had a Teflon sheet that was included, which was a very nice bonus, as well as also this Teflon wrap, which was very new to me. Wasn't on the Fancier Studio, the other one, so having this was very new. It's like I added another feature that I never knew on top of the whole pull-out feature for it too. So I did like this added wrap, and I'm pretty sure we're definitely going to start using that again for our other pre-presses. But very, very cool add-on. The assembly, again, no assembly. It was basically just taking it out of the box. No need to actually put things together. It's take out the box and plug it in. You could start working literally in seconds. That's it. So it was really cool. Nice add-on on the Teflon sheet that we have right there too as well. I gotta say, with this Teflon sheet though, I do wish it was a little bit bigger. Again, for our little method that we do is magnets, but you could always buy another Teflon sheet, or even maybe try to tape this one on with heat-resistant tape. But regardless, really good heat press. This heat press is going to get a 4.4 out of 5 from us. Overall, for $189.99 on Amazon, this is a really good press. And we really do understand why it's been around for almost over 13 years and why it has such a high rating. I'm not saying this is the best heat press in the world, but for the value, it's definitely up there. If you guys find any value in this video, please subscribe. If you guys have any comments or concerns, please leave it in the comments section. Please like, and thanks for watching.